Good afternoon. Welcome to the USC Physician Assistant Program, Class of 2021 Virtual Commencement Ceremony. My name is Mitzi Diaquila, and I'm the Director of Clinical Education for our program. On behalf of the faculty and staff, we want to welcome you as we honor the graduates of the Class of 2021. These graduates have spent the last 33 months preparing for a career as a physician assistant. This profession that they are about to enter is currently the fastest growing profession in the United States. Being a PA is ranked #1 as the best healthcare job for the 2021 US News and World Report. Top media outlets like Forbes, USA Today, and Money continually name being a PA as one of the most promising jobs in America. How exciting that these graduates are also completing the program that is number 10 in the nation and #1 in the state of California. Graduates, we choose to celebrate your success today as we know that you are ready to go out and make a difference in the lives of patients and communities. We also know that you are prepared to become nationally certified PAs and find success in healing others. More than ever these days, this is truly something to celebrate as our world needs you and others like you to love more, serve more, and heal those around you. In fact, the next 10 years should provide you with a number of opportunities for your job outlook as we as a nation prepare for the increasing number of patients that will be needing care from our healthcare team. In addition to your knowledge, experience, and dedication, it is this willingness to be open to new opportunities and the new ways of providing healthcare services that will be essential to your future career. You are already trained to practice in this way. Many of you are preparing to join physician practice, to work in a hospital or some other clinical setting. And already this group has been responsible for so much healthcare. As part of your education and from your beloved exact entries, all of you graduating today have together provided healthcare to 106,824 patients, which nearly includes 14,000 emergency room care visits, about 9,900 surgeries, and over 7,000 prenatal cases. Such wonderful contributions. And now, as you graduate, each of you is ready to do so much more. I would like to tell you a little bit more about the class of 2021. They have had their share of events, 2 engagements, 6 weddings, 2 pregnancies. They have celebrated births, have overcome illness, and have had loss of loved ones. Aside from their rigorous studies, these students have been involved in advocacy trips, health fairs, student-run clinics, and organized a bone marrow drive. Leadership came in the form of student national involvement with 1 American Academy of PA Student Western Regional Director and 2 AAPA student delegates. This class received several scholarships, including 1 USC Town and Gown Scholar, 2 National Health Service Corps Scholarship recipients, 6 National Medical Fellowship participants, 1 PAEA Future Educator Fellow, and 1 GER Scholar. This class was also part of the 2019 Kappa Bowl Champions. The class of 2021 has definitely been an impressive group. As we all know, the support of family and friends is a crucial component of the individual success of these graduates. Successful completion of this graduate program is a challenging task and one that is not completed without significant sacrifice. Their sacrifice was made easier by the love and support of their family and friends. We would personally like to thank the parents, siblings, partners, spouses, and significant others for their unending love and support of these graduates throughout this journey. One of the hallmarks of our program is the focus on interprofessional team-based education and practice. And one aspect is our interprofessional geriatric curriculum. Students participated in the care of older adults with teams of students from medicine, occupational therapy, dentistry, and pharmacy as part of a voluntary extracurricular activity. They were aided by the mentorship of Dr. Freddie Segal Gadan. Congratulations to the students who completed this extra program and showed dedication to interprofessional care for older adults. Another way our students demonstrated leadership and service is through their role in the USC PA Pipeline program. The USC PA Pipeline program is focused on mentoring local youth and their families from predominantly educationally and economically underserved backgrounds to help guide them in their pursuits of higher education and healthcare professions. The following students volunteered their time to lead educational sessions, organize expert panels, mentor students one-on-one, and conduct workshops that highlight the diversity of careers in medical field as part of the USC PA Pipeline program. Additionally, we recognize the many volunteers from the class of 2021 who took the time, in addition to their coursework, to support the USC PA Pipeline program. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Crystal Renee DeCatre. Ms. Renee DeCatre graduated from the USC PA program in 2011 and has worked for a private practice group in cardiothoracic and vascular surgery. During her time at USC, she served as class president and started the USC Physician Assistant Student Society. For her demonstrated leadership and service, Ms. Renee DeCatre was inducted into the Pi Alpha Honor Society in 2011 and currently serves as the president of this society. She continues to be involved at the PA program as a guest lecturer and clinical preceptor. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Crystal Renee DeCatre for her remarks.
Hi, class of 2021, friends, family, and faculty. My name is Crystal, and I am the president of the Pi Alpha Honor Society. It is a pleasure to join you all today to honor our inductees for the class of 2021. Pi Alpha, the National PA Honor Society, is the official honor society for the physician assistant profession. The motto of Pi Alpha is scholarship, service, and leadership. Thus, membership signifies an inductee's significant academic achievements and honors them for their leadership, research, community and professional service, and other related activities. The society encourages a high standard of character and conduct among students and graduates. Thus, membership implies a lifelong commitment to learning applied to benefit others. Student membership in Pi Alpha is an honor bestowed upon a graduating student in recognition of not only scholastic achievement with a minimum grade point average of 3.5, but also demonstrated excellence in the aforementioned activities, including research, leadership, and service. This year's inductees for the class of 2021 include Christina Davidian, Sonja Joplin, Marissa Kuo, and Annie Yang. Congratulations. You should have received your certificate of membership, official Pi Alpha pin, and honors cords. May you continue to model the high ideals of lifelong learning and participation in intellectual life to benefit others, for which your induction into Pi Alpha signifies. Pi Alpha also recognizes exceptional faculty members for induction. This year, we're honoring Miss Jennifer Ramos. After graduating from the USC PA program in 2007, she worked at Children's Healthcare of LA in hematology oncology. She joined the USC PA program as a clinical instructor in 2015. Since then, she has been innovative and inspiring in her approach to teaching, which has been evident in her mentorship as the head coach for the Medical Challenge Bowl teams, leading USC to their first ever APA Challenge Bowl win. She extends herself beyond her primary role as teaching faculty to develop supplemental curriculum activities that enrich PA student learning opportunities and serves as the Learning Specialist Liaison. In addition, she is an Apple Distinguished Educator and Seesaw Ambassador, all of which require educational excellence. Furthermore, Ms. Ramos has demonstrated a commitment to furthering the PA profession through her extensive research projects and presentations to the PAEA in regards to educational learning for PA students. She has also dedicated her time to the community by serving as the lead volunteer for the Special Olympics MedFest. Ms. Ramos has such a generous spirit, positive outlook, and true love for teaching and enhancing PA students' abilities to learn. It is for all of these reasons and more that we are honored to welcome Ms. Jennifer Ramos as a faculty inductee into the Pi Alpha Honor Society. Congratulations. To the entire class of 2021, this past year has shown your resiliency and adaptation during these unprecedented times. You are all joining the PA profession in a time that you are needed the most. As a guest lecturer and preceptor for the program, I am amazed by your growth, and I am confident that you all have the skill set needed to be phenomenal PAs. Working in the ICU during the COVID pandemic has given me a different outlook on my approach to patient care. It extends beyond the textbooks, and you have to approach each patient with a 360-degree view. Treat their disease, foster their mental health and well-being, lend a listening ear, be a shoulder to cry on, and go above and beyond to provide the best care possible. Congratulations to all inductees of the Pi Alpha Honor Society, and congratulations to the entire class of 2021. Up to 15% of each graduating class can be inducted into Pi Alpha, so you are still able to be nominated as an alumni. I hope you all will continue to strive for excellence to not only become compassionate, knowledgeable PAs, but continue to make a difference in your community through service and leadership. I'm proud to call you all my colleagues. Fight on!
Our keynote speaker is Dr. Beth Smolko. Dr. Beth Smolko is the president of the American Academy of Physician Assistants. She has served on AAPA's board of directors since 2016, following several years of service and leadership in AAPA's House of Delegates. She also served in multiple leadership positions at the Association of Family Practice Physician Assistants. She is the founding program director and department chair for Frostburg State University's PA Medicine program in rural Western Maryland. She is currently working to create a statewide telemedicine curriculum for PA programs across Maryland. She is also chair of the Area Health Education Centers, Maryland West. Dr. Smolko is also a nationally recognized speaker and author on topics in telemedicine, including legislative barriers and access to care issues. Dr. Smolko's passion for accessible, effective, and compassionate patient care led her to found a nonprofit called The Heart of Medicine, dedicated to delivering primary care to poor and underserved communities. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Smolko for her remarks.
Good afternoon, Keck School of Medicine PA Program Class of 2021. And good afternoon to parents and family members, faculty and staff, mentors and friends. It is such an honor and privilege for me to join you on this momentous occasion. You have survived one of the most challenging academic years PA students have ever faced. This indicates to me even more strongly what I already expected of graduates from this great program. You are meant to change and save lives. You have the grit, the tenacity, the compassion, and the commitment to answer the PA calling. It is this mission or calling that I want to talk about today. I was one of those PA students who had a circuitous path to becoming a PA. I was in cancer research, and then real estate, and then forensics. And then I was a full-time mom, all before finally discovering how amazing the PA profession is. Because I had another life prior to becoming a PA, I had glimpses of when I felt I was in my groove, doing what felt right. And this tremendous sense of fulfillment usually occurred when I was volunteering at a shelter or helping someone in a tough life circumstance. It wasn't until I became a PA, however, that I connected with what I believe I was meant to do, and what I would say was the most perfect moment of my life. Now, don't get me wrong, being a mother and holding my children for the first time was powerful beyond measure. But this perfect moment came to me in Haiti. I'd been volunteering in a remote town called Ranquit and was asked to provide medical care to a children in an orphanage at what Haitians may call a nearby town. And nearby could mean hours in Haiti. Getting to the orphanage was complicated and dangerous. We drove through a storm, and with the resulting flooded and damaged roads, all on a motorcycle. When we arrived, there were children half dressed, if they had any clothing at all, and many of them were very ill. I learned that an illness had been spreading through the orphanage, and there weren't enough caregivers to make sure the children had clothing and food, much less medical care. Also, the children's main caregiver had recently had a stroke and couldn't use much of her left arm or leg. These children were basically left to fend for themselves in a very weakened state. So, shortly after arrival, I asked the man who drove me to the orphanage to gather the children into the schoolhouse so I could begin examining them. One child after another had rattling lungs, swollen bellies from malnutrition, and showed signs of the emotional toll this was taking on them, with streaks of tears drying on their face. One little girl came up to me. She wasn't scared or shy, and she just studied my face as I examined her. She was so calm. I listened to her chest and I heard the familiar creaking ship of lungs that were likely filled with pneumonia. She had a profound heart murmur that I could hear by barely placing my stethoscope on her chest. And I'm not sure why at that particular moment, but it felt like time stopped. And I thought to myself, my whole life has led up to this brief moment caring for this little girl. I knew in that moment that my circuitous path brought me to my purpose, and that purpose was being a PA. And on my return home, that moment also led me to start a nonprofit called the Heart of Medicine, so I could bring more PAs to Haiti. My vision was to take PAs who felt disconnected from medicine due to burnout and provide them with a connection to patients in desperate need of medical care. I wanted them to reconnect with why they had chosen their profession, with healing. Haiti is a place where PAs can practice at the top of their license, education, and experience without the burdensome and unnecessary tethers to another profession. So let's talk about PA practice in the US and how we can increase access to care by allowing PAs to do what we do best, practice medicine. Being a PA is kind of like being a medical chameleon. We adapt and flex to the needs of our patients and the healthcare demand when and where it is required. We are capable of practicing medicine in every specialty, every state, and every setting. And as you can testify, the preparation for this profession is arduous, exhausting, and pushes you farther than you ever thought you could go. As PAs, we often use the word teams to describe the way we work with others. Look around you. These colleagues are your first team. Eventually, this team will include other professionals, and you will come to find that these professionals seek your advice as readily as you seek theirs. The reality of medicine today is that none of us work alone. And our patients, the reason we went into this profession, are better served from the cross-collaborative team expertise. Speaking of teams, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about optimal team practice, or OTP. I expect your faculty has already introduced this concept to you, but I want you to know it's as important to your future as a clinician and your ability to serve your patients as your clinical med courses were. You need to understand it well enough to explain to your legislators, colleagues, and the students whom you will precept in the future. Your ability to practice medicine at the top of your education and experience depends on it. OTP is built on 4 pillars: team practice, PAs regulating and taking responsibility for their own profession, eliminating the legal requirement for a specific relationship between a PA and other healthcare providers, and authorizing PAs to be eligible for direct payment by all public and private insurers. Making state-by-state legislative and regulatory changes that incorporate all 4 of these pillars is essential to every PA. If we hope to compete in the rapidly changing healthcare marketplace and improve access to care for our patients, especially in rural and medically underserved areas, these barriers must be removed from PA practice laws. The value PAs bring to America's healthcare system has never been quite as evident as it has been during the COVID pandemic. In 21 states where supervision requirements were relaxed or waived due to COVID, either through an executive order or previous disaster-specific legislation, PAs delivered the same excellent patient care without antiquated supervisory agreements. So, you're all very smart, almost newly minted graduates. Don't you think legislators should be asking themselves this? Is there a good reason these restrictive laws should remain in existence when their absence did not impact patient care during the crisis? Let me turn now to a subject I expect many of you in this audience seek to understand, and that is the PA title change investigation. 1 week from today, on May 20th, APA's House of Delegates will convene to discuss and debate this enormous and complex issue. Undoubtedly, there will be robust conversations and considerations around this topic. But as we wade through whether a title change is right for the PA profession, I want each of you to recognize that we all live the PA brand. We must all be PA brand ambassadors. I challenge each of you to confidently embrace that your outstanding medical education has equipped you to deliver excellent quality patient care. Every one of you here today must take responsibility for ensuring patients, legislators, and other healthcare team members understand exactly what PAs do and who PAs are. I don't know what the title will ultimately be proposed for our profession, but I know the PA brand must represent our expertise and mastery of medical science. Let me conclude by saying this past year, I was given the honor to serve as the president of the American Academy of PAs, representing over 150,000 PAs across this great country. As you all know, we face great change and challenges as PAs and PA students stepped up across the country to face a pandemic. PAs flexed their skills and faced their fears, and they saved lives as a result. Many of them, however, are now emotionally and physically exhausted. They will need you, our new teammates, to hold the line against this virus. Trust your knowledge and training. You are ready. Congratulations and best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Smolko. Our next speaker is Miss Amanda Ingalls. She was chosen by the class of 2021 to be their inspirational speaker. Miss Ingalls is an instructor of clinical family medicine at our program. She completed her Bachelor of Art in Psychology and Government with a Spanish language citation at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Miss Ingalls has dedicated her time volunteering with youth as a mental health mentor and working with those facing homelessness. She's a dedicated educator with rich clinical and research experience. After graduating from Western University of Health Sciences with her Master of Science in Physician Assistant Studies, she has focused her time in seeing patients with neurological and comorbid psychiatric disorders. She has also worked in pediatric and family medicine. She has published several times, including in the Journal of Neuroscience and Learning and Memory. Ms. Ingalls is an active member of both the American Academy of Neurology and the American Academy of Physician Assistants. Ms. Ingalls is passionate about athletics as she is an avid runner and enjoys football and hockey. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Ingalls for her remarks.
Hello, class of 2021. Hello to all of our faculty, staff, and alumni joining us. A very special hello to the family and friends of our graduating class. Thank you for lending them to us these last 3 years and for all of your support along the way. My name is Amanda Ingalls. I'm one of the very lucky faculty members given the chance to teach these students who are graduating today. More than teach, I suppose the better way of putting it is grow with, because as much as their lives have changed during their PA education, my life too has been shaped by their presence in it. Thank you to the class of 2021 for selecting me to say a few things today. I hope to make you proud. It seems to me that people like speeches that give a nice, concise list of things to do or recommendations to take with you. I'm getting older and recently find myself having a lot of what I call midlife epiphanies. I do kindly request you ask me for these again in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, because that will keep me accountable to ensure my list changes and evolves over that time. I hope that at 40, 50, 60, and beyond, my list of epiphanies is ever changing and evolving, just like we should be. I guess that takes me to the first point on my list. Number 1, you are never a finished product. You can and should be ecstatic about your accomplishments. You can celebrate what you've done and how far you've come. The idea of never being done does not take away the joy or absolute awesomeness of finishing PA school and moving forward with your career. May all of your accomplishments feel this way, garnished generously with a sense of completion and satisfaction. But think about this. Today you are a master of science. Do you feel you've mastered science? Medicine? I don't. But how boring would the next 30 to 50 years be if we were never challenged again? Embrace that. Don't let it knock you down. Let it motivate and excite you that there is so much farther to go on your learning adventure. Number 2, sometimes bad things happen. Life is equal measures of joy and heartache, bliss and disappointment. The cost of investing yourself so fully and completely is that the hurt can be deep. My advice on this is simple, to remember that not every emotion needs to be fixed. Some just need to be felt. Number 3, self-care. Move your body, but find joyful ways to do it. Say nice things about yourself, even if you don't believe them when you say it. Normalize celebrating what our bodies do instead of lamenting what they fail to look like. Eat vegetables, like a lot of vegetables. Not because of how it makes you look, but because of how it makes you feel. But also eat cookies sometimes. Utilize this principle when you set goals with yourself and with your patients. Balance and joy in self-care will ensure that it's actually done. Numbers on a lab report or on a scale cannot sustain human behavior. But joy? Yeah, joy will do it. Number 4, find authenticity. The most consistent piece of advice I got when asking about this speech was, just be yourself. I'm not sure I know quite how to do this yet, but I'm getting closer, trying to figure out where I fit and how to be happy with the person I am at the end of each day. Some days this is easy and others it's quite hard. Start with this principle. Listen to yourself. You're not always right, but pay attention. If something feels wrong, acknowledge that. Hold yourself and others accountable to the same high standard. What you have to say and what you think are important. Don't let your inner critic quiet you. Now, there is balance here. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Very thankfully, truth and thoughts are two different things, but both have their place in a happy life. I found some great quotes on authenticity from William James, David Thoreau, and the like. They were good, but this one from Steve Jobs just landed a little bit differently. He said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your inner voice. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition." Number 5, be a good person. I know that seems like a subjective request, but honestly, there are some things I consider to be universal truths in this realm. Have a baggie when you walk your dog and actually use it to pick up the dog's poop. Use your turn signals, not just out of mindless habit, but with the idea that it might make someone else's day just a little bit easier. But please don't come to a complete stop before changing lanes because that will ruin it. Hashtag Los Angeles. These examples are pretty telling about me, I guess, but the crux of this is that you should be doing the same things in private that you would do if someone was watching. At my undergraduate commencement, the speaker said, "Unlike any other creature on this planet, humans can learn and understand without having experienced. They can think themselves into other people's places." That wise speaker, who happened to be J.K. Rowling, was advocating the same concept that we're talking about now. Don't be bummed the world isn't always a good place. Throw your hands up and fall into the trap of, well, we're doomed, so I'll just look out for me and mine. Continue to do small things each day that move it towards the good place that we all wish it could be. Number 6. Find your people. There are 5 zones in the world named blue zones, where the longest living and healthiest people of the world reside. They have several things in common, including a self-defined higher purpose, consistent joyful movement, and a true sense of belonging, among other similarities that I hope you'll share with your friends and family when they ask you about it today. One lesson that stands out to me from these long livers is the Okinawan concept of moai, a group of friends who commit to each other for life in the spirit of continual and never-ceasing support. What a true gift. The presence of strong bonds in our lives is proven to not only extend the length of our lives, but the quality of those years. Hold on to your moai with both hands. Lastly, I want to encourage you to believe in something bigger than yourself and actively seek to connect in meaningful ways to that larger thing. I don't in any way presume to tell you what that looks like. Maybe it's family, maybe it's nature or healing. Maybe it's something with a particular name that calls you to a particular purpose. 33 months ago, we were in Trojan 1 at the end of the very first week of this learning adventure. We meditated together and listened to that woman tell us that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Since then, you've traversed more obstacles than any of us could have imagined. But is a journey really an adventure without obstacles? Or is it just a walk? No one says in their old age, gather around, grandchildren, let me tell you of this uneventful walk I took. There's no wisdom to pass along there. What you will say is, gather around, grandchildren, and let me tell you of the time I fought for something bigger than myself. I fought a global pandemic on the front lines. I fought my doubts, my fears, because what I was fighting for mattered. Now listen to all of the things I learned on my adventure. On days like this, we have the strong pull to do two things. Reflect on the past, how far we have come and how much we have learned. We also like to look ahead. What will we do next, and where will we go to start our brand new lives following graduation? I encourage you and all of us to make time today to look right beside you and revel in the thought that we are exactly where we are meant to be. Class, my congratulations cannot express the pride I have in watching you graduate today. Thank you for letting me be part of your lives and your adventure. Fight on.
Thank you, Ms. Ingalls. Now I would like to introduce class of 2021 graduate student, Sonia Joplin. She was chosen by her classmates to be the commencement class speaker this year. Please join me in welcoming Sonia for her remarks.
Hi, class of 2021, faculty, family, friends, and all you strangers in YouTube land. I am humbled to be this year's PA class speaker. I am also your unemployed PA class speaker, so shameless plug if anyone out there is looking for a PA. And now, congratulations to my fellow classmates on graduation. We didn't know even a fraction of what was in store for us when we began PA school. Back when masks were just something worn at Halloween and toilet paper was not in short supply. PA school gave us practice in being so stressed that even relaxing made you stressed because you weren't working on what was making you stressed. Just to give everyone a glimpse into what our classmates have accomplished in addition to PA school, some of us have raised kids, some commuted over an hour each way, and some of us miraculously did both. Haya had a baby and returned to take an exam a few days later. Braden's wife Haley had a baby, and he made it through these past few months on very little sleep. And me, well, my biggest struggle on most days was remembering whether I showered or not. Some of you got engaged, others got married. I wasn't lucky enough to do either of those things, but I did go on a few mediocre Hinge dates in LA with guys who thought PA meant I was a production assistant. #blessed. On a more serious note, many of us have gone through personal struggles. Others have grieved the loss of a parent, family member, friend, or beloved pet. Some were faced with these challenges multiple times over the past 3 years, but all of us survived PA school during a pandemic. We learned new vocabulary like virtual, asynchronous, and yes, aquifer. We were told these are unprecedented and trying times and have memorized what I think should be the program's updated motto, please be flexible. When we returned to rotations after 3 months of lockdown, we were suddenly considered essential workers and healthcare heroes, which at times felt like being called off the JV bench to play as a rookie. Whether or not you thought this was a dumpster fire of a year, we made it to today. I'd like to thank and honor all of our family and friends who stuck with us from way back when we were itty-bitty, pre-neurotic PAs to over the past 33 months, or 141.5 very long weeks. You may not have realized what you signed up for, but we appreciate every homemade meal you've cooked and load of laundry done so we could squeeze in a few more minutes of Quizlet flashcards. To all of the faculty and staff who supported us, thank you. From playing Kahoot with Dr. V to going over farm flash reviews with Dr. Ma, all of our faculty made it possible for us to learn what at times was an overwhelming amount of information. In fact, our faculty are so dedicated to helping students that we received many emails before sunrise. Shout out to you, Ms. Ramos, and well into the midnight hours. Mr. Mayo, Ms. Diaquila, and Ms. Trammell are a few that come to mind. Thank you to all of our wonderful, hardworking staff. You have been with us from the time our PA school applications were processed to every requirement for clinical onboarding. We know that you don't often get enough credit, but we appreciate your diligent work behind the scenes to make our time at USC the best experience possible. Dr. Lohenry, your weekly and sometimes daily emails were full of wise words and heartfelt thoughts. You communicated with us and made every effort to put our safety first, leading our program through some very tough decisions while navigating countless unknowns. Thank you so much. A big thank you as well to all of our clinical preceptors. You have volunteered to help train the next generation of PAs, and that is an incredible gift that keeps on giving. To our class president, Renee, thank you for being our fearless leader. You have been the calm and sensible voice of reason within our class. You stood up for us during rough patches, encouraging us during difficult times. You cheered us on the whole way and celebrated each of our wins. I have been so impressed by your persistence, and you are definitely the person to turn to if I ever need to negotiate a discount. Finally, to my classmates, I truly believe that I would never have made it through this program without all of your support. You have continued to amaze me, and I am forever grateful for each of you. Whether it was generously sharing your beautiful notes, baking yummy treats for late nights of studying, coming up with super weird and funny mnemonics and stories to remember all of the medication side effects, or listening to me cry about antibiotics and EKGs more times than I'd like to admit. You have been there through it all. When our fellow student Amanda was diagnosed with a life-threatening illness in the middle of the pandemic, the program banded together, contributing to GoFundMe page and a Be the Match campaign. Amanda, seeing you go through multiple rounds of testing and treatment and then returning for the 6th semester was genuinely inspiring. Thank you for teaching us the true meaning of the Trojan spirit to fight on and heal on. You are incredibly special and mean so much to us. Right now, some of us may have a sense of urgency in wanting to know what lays ahead. The options of where to live and where to work may feel endless in ways that are both exhilarating and terrifying. But ever since we began on this road towards becoming PAs, a blurry algorithm of decisions and circumstance, of planning and winging it, of good luck and some not so good luck, have landed us where we are now. I do believe that if PA school and this pandemic have taught us anything, it is that one way or another we'll make it through. Here's to embracing a new beginning, a new season of life with hope, but mostly with the understanding that we don't know precisely the future will hold, and that's okay. In the wise words of Salvador Portillo, we didn't come this far to only come this far. So celebrate, study hard for the pants, and then go onward and upward to live your life. Lastly, I'd like you to join me in a very special song that, thanks to the wonders of technology, you can replay at any time in the future. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to my classmates. Happy birthday to you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'm so proud of you all. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to introduce our last speaker, Dr. Kevin Lohenry. Dr. Lohenry has served as director of our program for the past 10 years. He is currently clinical professor and associate dean of graduate student affairs. Dr. Lohenry was a practicing PA in family medicine and internal medicine, providing inpatient and outpatient services to his patients. Dr. Lohenry has served as Director at Large on the Board of Directors for the National Commission on Certification of Physician Assistants and served as President of the Physician Assistant Education Association in 2011. From 2012 to 2013, he served on First Lady Michelle Obama's Joining Forces Initiative, focusing on military veterans and families. Dr. Lohenry has received numerous federal grants focusing on interprofessional education and many state-funded grants focusing on PA workforce and diversity. He has published in the Journal of Physician Assistant Education, the Journal of American Academy of Physician Assistants, and Medical Education Online. Dr. Lohenry is a veteran of the United States Navy. I would like to invite Dr. Lohenry to give his closing remarks.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Yes, I said it. You are now our colleagues, and we want to congratulate you on this momentous occasion. After a very tenuous year full of adversity, you made it to the end of one path and the beginning of another. For most of you, this path took an average of 7 years. For some of you, that is a quarter of your life to date. At some point in your past, you made the crazy decision to become a PA. And you changed much in your life to make it to this profession. This included your grades, your clinical and volunteer experiences, your letters of recommendation, your interviews, and probably a fair bit of anxiety as you waited for a call from a program saying yes to your application. 3 to 4 years ago, you received that call from our team and you made the decision to join the Trojan PA family. In August of 2018, you began the last phase of your path to this profession. Who knew that you would end your PA education in the midst of a worldwide pandemic that would test us all to our core? Who knew that we would see so much suffering beyond what we ever imagined possible? I know you all expected to see challenges, but who knew the fear, the trials, and the tribulations that so many would face in this past year? We've all lost much from this past year. We've lost loved ones, friends, the experiences we had hoped to encounter. Yet despite this once-in-a-century challenge, you all rose above and found the courage and conviction to finish your studies. On top of that, we have faced so much as a nation related to systemic racism and the murders of so many of our colleagues and friends in the streets of Minneapolis and beyond. In what is arguably the most defining moment of our lives to date, you chose to demonstrate the determination to keep walking down that path. And here we are today, celebrating your achievement while reflecting on the past 3 years. This seems similar to me to climbing, which is a very challenging sport. Alex Honnold, who was the first to free solo ascent El Capitan in Yosemite, talks about the level of concentration it takes from each step, each foothold, or hand placement. And he is known to only focus in on that for the entirety of his climb. But when he reaches the summit, he looks down to see the beauty of the valley below. And it reveals this amazing achievement from his climb. PA education is similar to that free solo ascent, and that you have to focus in on each foothold and hand placement, and sometimes miss the opportunity to look back at what you have achieved until you're done. The footholds are like modular exams covering cardiology, pulmonology, rheumatology, pharmacotherapeutics, basic science, Spanish. The hand placements seem like the clinical skills you work so hard to master, including suturing, casting and splinting, and others. Throughout each foothold and hand placement, you have shown great resilience, and that is something that you can put in your backpack to carry with you for the rest of your life. Now, having resilience doesn't mean you haven't experienced distress, but it does suggest that you have successfully negotiated the challenges and moved forward. While our backpacks may also contain the painful memories of the challenges we faced, the truth is our success in navigating the challenge and arriving at the summit merely means we kept our eyes on the prize. The American Psychological Association suggests that we can build resilience through prioritizing relationships and hanging around people who remind us that we're not alone in this journey. There's one thing that we've learned from this pandemic in the last year is the importance of family and friends. And you have your families, you have your classmates, and you have your Trojan PA family to help share in that walk. They also suggest the importance of finding purpose in our lives. And I will argue that you've already found yours years ago when you chose to turn into this profession. And much like that climber who continues to move up the cliff one foothold and one hand placement at a time, they say we can build resilience by continuing to move towards our goals. So while you have made it to the top of this summit, there will be more cliffs that you have to climb. There will be more challenges to navigate. But let's celebrate today. Let's celebrate the fact that you've made it through one of the hardest climbs in modern history. And let us enjoy the view from the top of this summit together. Before you leave, I have one last thing to teach you. One of the most difficult things for us to overcome as humans is imposter syndrome. That feeling that we aren't really ready, that we are a fraud, that people will see us for who we really are. That feeling that we don't belong where we are at, that we don't belong with the big dogs. So we shy away, hoping nobody finds out who we really are. Over the past few weeks, I've had the personal privilege of watching many of you perform your final exams on videos. And I've been grading those exams, and I saw how well prepared you are, both in medical knowledge, but even more importantly, in relating to patients. I saw the humanity in your eyes as you sought the information you needed from your patients. I saw your humor, your compassion, your empathy at play, and it was incredible to watch. Each one of you is ready for the next step. You are not imposters, and the only way you become one is if you let it happen. Prepare your minds, prepare your hearts for the world and the doubts that will come, as that is inevitable. But know that we are all cheering you on as we have confidence in each and every one of you to become an outstanding healthcare provider. In closing, one of my favorite mentors in life would constantly remind me that when faced with a challenge that you have conquered, the most appropriate statement to the world upon the completion of that challenge is onward and upward to bigger and better things. And so I say to all of you today, onward and upward to bigger, better things. Congratulations and fight on.
Thank you, Dr. Lohenry. Once again, please join me in congratulating the graduating class of 2021. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the program, it is my distinct privilege to congratulate you and wish you the very best in your future endeavors. While you have much to accomplish in the coming months and years, you have come a very long way. We are incredibly proud of you and are looking forward to watching you grow in your career and in life. This concludes the virtual commencement ceremony. Thank you, and as always, fight on and heal on.